Hi guys, so today we're going to talk about sun signs. Now this is the third video in a 12-part mini-series that will be covering all of the zodiacs because there is far too much to be covering in one video and one video alone. Now this one's going to be about Gemini, as that is the third zodiac in the house. I will be covering moon and rising signs at a later date, so please make sure that you look out for those as well. So firstly, this is Western astrology. Now Western astrology has 12 signs in the zodiac. Every so often comes up the Ophiuchus problem that changes everybody's star sign. No, it doesn't. There is no 13th zodiac. There are hundreds and thousands, if not more, constellations in our skies. If we included every constellation in our zodiac houses, one person would have uncountable amounts for one day. So in Western astrology there are only the 12 houses of the zodiac. So let's start. Gemini is located between the 21st of May and the 21st of June, and their element is air. And they are, as I said, the third sign of the zodiac. Now their stones are pearl and moonstone, tourmaline, white sapphire, emerald, and agate, I think. Their power colour is green. However, green is normally associated with earth signs. I don't know why Gemini's power colour is green, but they do tend to get associated with pink and black as well. It's an air sign. They're interchangeable. They're always changing around. Air signs are smart, sharp and speedy. They think more than they feel or do. And Geminis are the liveliest of the air signs. They're versatile, they're youthful, they're curious, they're fun. But they do tend to get overly anxious about any important event in their life. And this is the reason that they aren't able to perform very well under pressure. And Geminis will generally judge others on the basis of superficial information too. Now the Gemini symbol is that of the twins. They're the butterflies of the zodiac. Gemini is actually represented by Castor and Pollux, known as the Dioscuri. The twins represent a dual-natured personality, sometimes contradictory but also adaptable, with the capability to view life from many different angles. As an air sign, Gemini often appears fickle to those who might not understand the twins' need for change and adventure and swapping things up quite a lot. You won't find moss growing under a Gemini's feet. They do not stand still. Their insatiable thirst for new experiences, adventures, and they absolutely thrive on constant change. They have an innate penchant to have two of everything. It's very common to see a Gemini with 2 homes, 2 cars, 2 spouses, 2 jobs. It's just a part of the twin aspect of the Gemini. They are known to be really childlike and fun. So like some of the Gemini celebrities include Marilyn Monroe, Helena Bonham Carter, Neil Patrick Harris, Colin Farrell. So all those quite fun, quirky, can be childlike type of people. They will confound you with their multiple personalities. They're constantly changing the version of the truth and themselves. They're really inquisitive. Their function is to explore different ways of thinking, different ways of the world, everything. They just explore. They absolutely love to be the centre of attention, and they love to gossip. They're typically passionate yet easygoing. They're always down for adventure. They're always down for intellectual conversations. If you hang out with a Gemini, only one thing's certain: you'll never be bored. Let's talk a bit about the planets and the stars. Now, Gemini is ruled by the planet Mercury. Mercury allows Geminis to think and analyse matters. As a really thought-driven air sign, they're really quick-thinking, quick-witted, on their toes all the time. And it is definitely thanks to this ruling planet that they have. Gemini's constellation is located in the northern hemisphere. First catalogued by the Greek astronomer Ptolemy, and it is the 30th largest constellation in the sky occupies about 514 square degrees, and it's the second quadrant of the northern hemisphere that it's in. So the Gemini constellation, as I mentioned earlier, represents the twins in Greek mythology, Castor and Polydeuces. They are also known as the Dioscuri, which stands for the sons of Zeus. However, in most versions of this myth, Polydeuces was actually the son of Zeus, whilst Castor was the son of the king of Sparta, who's indeed mortal. So the twins' mother was the Spartan queen Leda. She was raped by Zeus, who visited her in the form of a swan, which is associated with the constellation, the swan, the Cygnus. She became pregnant with Polydeuces and Helen, who later became the famous Helen of Troy. Now, Leda then became pregnant with Castor and Clytemnestra, who later married Agamemnon and then murdered him, and then was murdered by her own son. But that's a different story. Castor and Clytemnestra were mortal because their father was the king of Sparta, Tyndareus, whereas Zeus's children were immortal. Now, Castor and Polydeuces grew up together, and they were really close. Castor was an excellent horseman, and he was proficient at fencing, and he's said to have taught Hercules himself to fence. Polydeuces was famed for his boxing skills. The two were a part of the Argonauts, the great expedition to get the Golden Fleece. Now, Polydeuces' boxing skills came in really handy when the son of Poseidon, Amycus, refused to let the Argonauts leave until one of them fought him in a boxing match. Polydeuces accepted the challenge, and he easily won. Twins came to the rescues of crews on a number of occasions. They have been known to be the patron saint of sailors, and were said to have been given the power to rescue sailors who were shipwrecked by the sea, by Poseidon himself, who also gave them 2 white horses, which the twins often rode. Now, the twins are associated with something called St. Elmo's fire, and this is a huge electrical phenomenon that happens during thunderstorms. It's like a discharge from a pointed object in a really strong electric current field, creates this huge, like, luminous plasma. The phenomenon is actually named after another patron saint of sailors. Now, St. Elmo's fire would appear to sailors as a glowing ball of light during these thunderstorms, and of course they're at sea. And they consider it as a sign that their guardian saint is with them. Castor and Polydeuces eventually clashed with Idas and Lynceus, who were also twins, and they were also Argonauts, over 2 women, Phoebe and Hilaria. The other brothers were engaged to them, and Castor and Polydeuces carried the women off. The other twins obviously followed the Dioscuri and pursued them, and in the end there was a massive fight between all 4 of them. Now, Lynceus stabbed Castor with a sword, and when Polydeuces saw this, he killed Lynceus. And then once Idas had seen that his brother Lynceus had died, he attacked Polydeuces, but Zeus intervened with a lightning bolt, which saved his son. After this, Polydeuces asked Zeus to share his immortality with his dead brother, and the god then placed them both in the sky, where they remain inseparable, and they are our star sign, Gemini. So, those of us that are born under the Gemini star sign can get a reputation of being a little bit all over the place. There is a lot more to a Gemini personality than many realise, and they possess quite unique traits and characteristics that aren't necessarily noticed at first glance. Now, Gemini children tend to be really communicative, really charming and really sociable. Even if they're on the quieter side, they will still be quick-witted. They'll be fully aware of the world that's going on around them. But they are indecisive, and they do change their minds quite a lot. But it does make them quite adaptable to any situation. Geminis tend to avoid conflict. They walk away before things get too heated. They don't do well with confrontation at all. However, if you do back them into a corner, they will retaliate, and they aren't afraid to stand up for themselves, but their words can be really cutting, so much so that they don't even notice it themselves. They are really loyal as both a friend and a lover. They can be incredibly picky about who to trust, but once they do, they are yours for life. Their minds are constantly racing with thoughts and ideas and questions. They're so naturally curious about everything. They'll find it hard to stick to a certain topic or a certain way of life or a certain hobby, because their mind's just firing off and thinking about other things at the time. They don't like being controlled. They're really independent. They're very self-reliant, and they'll kind of forge their own way in this world, but they do need the freedom to live by their own terms. They are observant as hell. If there's a rumour about someone starting to hook up with somebody else, you can bet your dollar that a Gemini started it, because they saw it before it got too big. They're really natural investigators. They're always aware of what's going on around them. They just have this amazing ability to get to the bottom of anything, even with a slightest whisper of something being different. They are known to be outrageously flirty, just as all air signs are. They don't perceive themselves the way that other people do. They have a great way with words, they're really friendly, they're really chatty, they're really just bubbly, and a lot of other signs, especially fire, will feel really threatened by this. However, they don't mean to be as flirty as they may be coming across. It's just how they are. They also have no tolerance for really critical people. If you're a complainer, don't take it to a Gemini. They'll switch off within seconds. They're really drawn to people who stimulate their minds, who will ask questions that get them thinking right outside the box. And they aren't afraid to tell you exactly what they think. They don't mince their words. They will come to, when it comes down to their own opinions and their own minds, they are quite direct. However, as direct as they are, they're very good at not telling the whole truth, or taking out the parts that they don't need you to hear, or indeed saying it behind your back rather than your face. They are really supporting and encouraging as friends though. They really like to see their friends make their goals. They'll push you into bettering yourself all the time. They can come across as a bit of a weirdo sometimes, and they can be really random and unpredictable and just downright strange. And they'll leave you wondering what on earth what is going on in their heads, but know in their hearts that they just want you to do the best that you can. They're also really good at talking their way out of any situation. They are absolutely the person that gets away with the speeding fine and all sorts. They are such smooth talkers. They're very quick to backpedal and make themselves look like the good guy. And they'll get you out of any situation toot sweet. But they are really restless people. They like to be doing something, and they don't always get on well when they're left by themselves and to their own devices. They can be pretty overly emotional. They are prone to experience really, really intense emotions. So their highs are really high and their lows are astronomically low. Geminis do have a wickedly sarcastic sense of humour. This isn't to everyone's taste, especially people like earth signs, but they are really affectionate when they're in love, and once they've let their guard down, but they are like a roll with the punches type of person, but their humour isn't for everyone, and they do tend to get bored really easily. They can fall in love instantly, really quickly. But only when that person can match their intelligence. However, keeping them in love is quite a task. If they get bored, they stop being mentally stimulated, they're gone. They fall out of love as quickly as they fell in love. So the most compatible zodiac signs with the Gemini is an Aquarius, Libra, Aries and Leo. So again, your fire and your air signs. The least compatible are your Pisces, your Virgos, your Capricorns and your Scorpios, and your opposite sign is a Sagittarius. Now this is sun signs. Sun signs do not govern your relationship. It is your moon signs that govern your love and your romance. So if you really want to get into it with somebody, find out their moon sign and your own, and then test your compatibility, because I promise you, you'd be quite surprised. Altogether, Geminis can be great friends. They're wild, they're crazy, you'll always be surprised by them, but they do have this split personality, and what they can be to your face doesn't necessarily reflect their real feelings for you. They can be really two-sided, and one minute you can be giggling and laughing and like, oh my god, this is mental, and the next minute you're in one of those really intense lows. Solum Signal Geniorum. Now, this has been the Gemini Sun video. This is the third part in a 12 mini-series. However, I will be expanding on to moon and rising signs, so please make sure that you look out for them as well. Thank you.